Welcome back to Factorio. I'm Rever, and we have some work cut out for us in getting some science on the mend. I'm tired of making it. It takes a long time to make it manually, and it's time to get red and hopefully green science both going today. Now, this is where having the FNEI is good, or the internet for that matter, where we can. I put this on our favorites, but we could look it up. You can search science. If you didn't watch the last episode, you'll see I did that. Put this guy on my favorites tab, or the last recipe. Actually, not even the favorites, but that we can see exactly what we need. We need trans belts and an inserter. If you don't have that, then you just have to research to the science. If you, I guess, if you want to be overly legitimate in a sense. Now, another thing I did before we even get started is I ran around quite a bit and exposed some of the map. And the reason I like to do that is to try to get some sense of how I would lay things out. Now, this is where having the peaceful mode's a little bit nice, even though you can kind of explore. You just got to be real careful getting around these biter nests. So in peaceful mode, you can run right past them. But I probably should have picked a better seed. I don't know, but it'll make it more challenging if we continue with this series. I still haven't put out the first episode, which will come out in a couple hours from now. So once I get your guys' reaction from the first episode, we'll see if we continue this or not. But in any event, really not the greatest seed. And this is, as much as anything else, what I was looking for is to find where our next iron and copper would come from. It's good that we have some uranium here if we go nuclear, and then we have some oil for things we'll need like plastic and whatnot. Now, forgive me if I'm making a lot of assumptions about past recipes. So I'm going to have to work this out as I go, just along with you guys. But the big takeaway is this: there's a lot of water all along this side, so we're not really going to be able to expand out to the east there. We're going to kind of have to go to the west. And I was looking that we have a pretty good area right in here where we could build. And then with this water, I'm not sure how well you guys can see, but with this water in this area, oh, look, we got a little tiny bit of copper. Never even noticed that. With this water, we could probably do some power out this way as we go to ramp it up. So what that means is I'd like to kind of stay a little bit on this side if we build some like little initial things where I don't want to get into this area because then I'd like to start laying out our proper base a little bit more out this way. So again, I don't know exactly what we're going to do. Let me know your opinions on the kind of base you would like to see. But the fact that we don't have iron so far definitely making me think we'll get into trains. They're a good early form of getting from one, further distances. Plus, that's it. The only thing I've found so far is this bit of iron, which is decent size, and this bit of copper. So, we have some coal up here, which is good, but we also have some coal closer, and we have some stone closer as well. But really not too much right in our immediate vicinity. So if we start running out of these, which if you look, compared to those other ones, this only has 369,000 copper. It might sound like a lot, 475, but we'll cut through this iron and copper before you know it once we start ramping things up. So we're going to have to do some more exploring. Now, just because I'm on peaceful mode, I do tend to like to clear out some of these villages and take that as a bit of a challenge as far as the military aspect goes. So, even though I like the peaceful mode, I don't like to necessarily... That's why I like to still have the biters in a lot of the playthroughs that I've done. And I shouldn't even say playthroughs, it's just, playing the game. All right, so here we are. So what do we want to do? Let's head over this way a little. Oh, you know what? I still kind of need some copper. So I have been harvesting a little bit. I also made some of the things that I think we're going to need to do this. Maybe not all of them, but hopefully close. But we certainly still need some copper and some iron plates, potentially. So I cleared out a little bit of this area right up here. And I've been making a few more bricks here. The bricks are nice for paving stuff, if nothing else. And plus, we kind of have a good amount of stone at this point, too. So there was a whole bunch of stone right in this area. So what I was thinking I'd like to do, and you don't I'm not too worried about this being perfect, especially because they've kind of changed the recipes on things. But I thought, oh, you know what? Sorry, distract myself. So they've changed the recipes, but we do need to get another research, which is this automation. That's going to give us two things that are going to make this much better. This long-handled inserter is very nice to have, and so is the automatic or the electrical assembly machine. The other one's the burner assembly machine, which we've kind of skipped right past, partially because of my lack of knowing. But I had already made up and put in enough science over in our labs over there, so that should be good to go. So what I was thinking we would do is maybe set up our little science thing down in this area somewhere, maybe even over here. Bring our copper and iron over this way and feed them in from the top and then come back down with some of these stone furnaces. So there's a couple ways to lay these out I've seen people do. I'm not going to get too excited. Stay a little, we can always move that guy. Yeah, as a matter of fact, well, no, let's do this. Leave enough room that we don't have to clear out too many more trees, which really isn't too much. So what I want to do is put two sets of these. So what I want to have is, oops, I didn't do that right. All right, so we're going to have a belt there, and then we'll have another furnace here. One of these lines will do copper, and the other one will do that. Now on the inflowing, what I want to do is I want to put one space away, a belt for, like, say, copper, right? And then we would have a matching one here. And then I would have coal coming down this way and coal coming down this way. And then another belt here for the other, like if this one's copper, then this one will be iron, right? And then a space, another furnace. I think you guys might get the idea so far. And then we'd have... Now we could potentially put the copper and the iron on one belt, but at this point, this should work out okay. So what we would do is this guy will run down here, and this guy will run down here. This will be the outgoing. So then the next thing I want to do is... Now the other thing we need to keep in mind, because of the way these are... Well, no, we're gonna, yeah, should I do, I think this one will end up being the copper. Let's just start out with 10 for the iron. Yeah, I don't really know if they've changed it much, but I don't think we're gonna need nearly as much copper at that point. Let's just get this many going in case we don't have enough stuff, right? So what we're going to need, and what we want to make sure is that we can put electrical poles in here. So I like to, let's do this. So we're going to need to have a thing coming out, putting our iron in this case. And this is where the long reach comes in nice, because you can just sit here and do this stuff. And then we'll have to have... Right, this will bring in the ore. Do we make nearly enough of these? Maybe, maybe not. It depends on when we get our research done on the other. So the long-handled ones are going to have to go over here, but we could start while this is automation is being made. So this one's fine the way it is. So this is going to be our coal coming in. And what I'm thinking we would do is maybe come all the way up to here, right? And then we're going to need another coal all the way up to here. Can't reach. All right, and then we'd have like a splitter, which will split. Well, we can do like that. And then we'll have to have one like here. Yeah, we'll have to split off for this. That'll be fine. And then we'll split off here. Now, one of the things we should be able to do is output priority, right? Left or right. We want it to be right because we want to make sure that this always goes over to our power first so that we don't end up running out of coal there. Now, we might have to increase the amount of coal, but we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. Right, and then this, you know what, this guy's. I'll get rid of that and that. The reason for that is save a belt. This doesn't matter too much, but right, there we go. Then this guy can come right across and into there. And then this guy can come across and into there. And then right, that should need to just come down to there because at this point we'll put the last splitter right there, and then this guy, same thing. And then this guy only needs to come down to here for now. All right, so that'll start our coal filling up. Like I said, I don't really know if we have enough of everything, but at least we got to start. So now, a little bit tricky part will be getting these things in here. And the question is, yeah, we're probably better off with something like this. Right, so that we don't, if you count the number of, count the number of times you would have to jump, and I think we'd have to jump more, bring in the copper and the iron in. Now, it looks like we're not going to have nearly enough belts. So we'll make up as many belts as we can. We get twice as many, so now what I want to do is, well, let's start. Well, yeah, you know what? We'll start down this end just because it'll start. Yeah, that's not in the way. So we're going to have like iron and copper. All right, now that way our miners start working for us a little bit more. Yeah, we'll just bring this right along. Yeah. No, you know what? We want to go a little more like that, just so when we put more miners in there, we don't have to backtrack in a sense. Now we're probably going to, like I said, need a lot more iron than we do. Here's another trick too, if you didn't know. You can run even faster if you run on the belts. So what I'm thinking of is, and I did think this through. If we think about this, we're going to want, or I thought some of it through anyway. Right, we're going to want to split our copper, and then we're going to want to, well, we could probably do it this way. Right, split our iron. And if you look, right, this guy would be like this. So this way the iron, which is on top down here, would stay on top. Are we going to have enough belts? Probably not. Now in a minute, we'll be making much more iron, I hope. And then we'll have to ramp up our number of miners there as well, of course. But what are we doing here? Oh, we're out of... I think we're going to get by with the amount of copper. The iron, I'm a little more concerned with. I just filled them up with coal not too long ago. So getting that extra iron should help us get hopefully enough belts. This might even be enough right now. Yep. Well, almost. Right. So then one of these is going to come into here. I don't think that's going to mess us up. Right. And then these need to come down at least to there. There. Our automation is almost done. Just not enough. Make 30 more, that'll be enough. So once our automation is done, then we can get those long-handled inserters on the go. And that'll let us get this ramped up. So I think we can do... Yeah, how can we get... No, we can't get everything. Yeah, so you have to keep in mind... See, we're going to need long-handled inserters here, and the problem's going to be that we have to think this through, right? We're not going to be able to reach that with these type of poles. There's another type of pole. See what I mean? Like, no matter where we put this, so really what we need to do is space this out a little bit more so that I can put a pole here and here. All right, so we need to leave a gap in this one. We can do two next to each other and then a gap. Yeah, so let's pick up all of this stuff. And might as well pick this up. And I like to electrify things at the very end. Otherwise, you start getting more of this kind of stuff in your inventory when you break these things apart. All right, so we'll then go back to what we were doing. Now this one goes this way. All right, and then that. We've got enough belts, I hope. And this will have to come down to there. That's okay. That'll have to come to there. Yeah, this one's coming down anyway, but it'll have to come down to here. This one here. Ah. Middle mouse button. There we go. Yeah, in the old days, you used to put things in there, which this is kind of forced. This is good. I think I'm going to like this when I get used to the new hotkey thing. If you've never played, then you don't know what I'm talking about. But yeah, so we can't put that guy there. It has to go here, but that's good. So now he'll cover all of those. All right, because we're going to be putting those red-handled inserters in. Now we don't have... See, here we don't have the same problems. We could put this guy like here and here and here. It's a lot of extra poles. Yeah, we can't put that guy there. I guess we could put him up here. Yeah, you know what? That would be better, wouldn't it? Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it this way. All right, let's get rid of all of these. All right, because if we put it here, that'll cover both sides. The pole, that is. All right, like see, that's covering everything. Good. Are we ready to make? No, we're not ready to make because we don't have... Oh, what, are we really that short of... I think we're short a red science or 3. That's sort of a bummer. Let's head back over there and see what's going on. Yeah, we're out of red science. Well, hopefully in the not too distant future, we will have quite a bit of it, right? Yeah, let's get these guys. Here we go. That should be... Oh, you know what it was? Is one of them got used up partially. I'm not sure why that happened. I don't know if it's because I canceled that, but the bottom line is we should now be able to go ahead and get long-handled inserters. Now, how many are we going to need? I don't know if we have enough. Well, we need 1 for each of these, and we've got 10 here and another, so we need 16, and we have enough for 13. So what are we missing? Missing iron. What are you doing there? Yeah, this is why it's a good idea. Leave these running until you're ready to go. Take a run back on the belt. And then what do we need? We need to wait. Yeah, everything else should be good to go. Now we should talk about maybe the output. All right, we can run. I think I want to run this long in case we want to add some more of these. And I'm not sure if they've changed like the balancing at that point, but let's talk about the next step. So I think the first step will be to make red science. So we're going to need a one of these to make gears, and then we're going to need another one of these to make the actual science itself, at least to get started, right? And then that'll be enough of that. And then we didn't make any 1, 2, 3, right? More of those. All right, so here's 13. I'll put these right here, I guess. Hopefully we'll get these pretty quickly. All right, and then these are going to bring in coal for us. Yeah, one thing I'm liking about this a little bit more is that when you used to run out of stuff, like this symbol would disappear if we used them all up. All right, so we should be good to go if we just put some power to it. I guess it's probably better to get... Well, let's get the power from... Well, let's get it from over here. I like to kind of put the power so that it's consistent in the sense that if we ever cut it off here, it cuts the whole thing off. So, like, if that makes sense, because eventually you might want to put switches and stuff like that in here. But there we go. Look, we're making some iron. And then since we have power right in this area anyway, do we have wooden chests? Now let's make 2 wooden chests, and we don't have... Yeah, we'll make 5 more inserters. So I want to put a chest here, chest here. As soon as we get our inserters, we can just have a chest that we can grab stuff out of, because we don't necessarily want all of this going into here. Now, if we look at our red science, let's jump back over to that thought for a minute. We do need one copper plate and an iron gear. So I'm not sure exactly how best to lay this out, but put this down here. All right, so we're going to need, let's do it on this side. And I think I want to put my copper gears we'll do this. I did that thing again. All right, we want to make iron gears. And then I think I want to put these guys on a belt just in case it makes extra of them. And I'll show you why in a minute. Now, I did that thing again. All right, so let me think about this. This is going to put this on the other side. So when this goes to export them, it's going to put them on the far side. And I kind of want to put the copper and the gears on the same belt. So what we're going to do is we'll just come up here. All right, if we do this, and then this, and we ran out of belts. It's the name of the game. Let's go get some more. Well, we got more iron here, so if we just sit here and hit F, it will collect us up a bunch more iron. It's a little bit slow, though. Like, it's not the fastest way to get iron in your inventory. We shouldn't need too much. What do we do there? All right, so then I want another splitter. I'll make 5. The only problem with making 5 is that we then have to wait for them, but we can keep going with what we were doing. And I think that, yeah, so if we put a copper splitter here, that'll get us copper onto there. I think we can, yeah, we're not going to be able to reach it the way I did that. So let's take that and just put it up one. All right, so there's that. And then we have splitter. All right, and that'll bring the rest of that down. And then we can talk about another one of these. I don't know how well this will work out, but yeah, this red side. So we need those two things. So let's see. All right, so we might want to, it sort of depends, when I say how well this will work out, you know, can this thing, yeah, one of these can easily stay ahead of one of these. Now we could put more down this way too, right? So when we get a little bit more behind us, and then the other thing we can do, and it sort of depends on how many these can make. So in other words, for us anyway. So this is going to take 5.5 seconds to make each one. This can make them in 3 iron gears, right? In 1 second or 0.5 seconds there, like, or no, I'm sorry, it makes 1 per 0.5 seconds. So we can make like 10 more than we need. So we could have quite a few of these red science makers going. I missed. All right, which, yeah, now we're kind of getting into this. Now we should talk about where we put our science lab. We'll put it down over here where it's out of the way. And that'll mean we need more belts. And this is sort of getting in our way. We might have to move that. But for now, this will work. All right, and then that guy, you know what we could do if we did this. We can move that guy over one. Here we go. So we made, oh, we don't have any belts. There you go. All right, so now we got belts on the make. Cool. So we are making automated red science. Very nice. So now, what do we need to do for green science? Probably, I'm thinking maybe we make green science right over here. And if we come over and hover over this, you'll see we have to make belts, which is a really good thing. And we have to make inserters. And those are really nice things to make anyway when you think about it. So if anything, we kind of want to make more of these if we can. Now this recipe is definitely a lot more complicated than it was before. So let's see, we can make these, but we're going to have to make an electric motor, a burner inserter in order to make these. So we've got to make a number of things. To make this, we need iron sticks, motors. So this is going to be a bit complicated. So let me go ahead and make more of these up. So I need to save up some iron. Let me get a little bit of a plan layout going, and I'll be right back. And we're back again. I've just let some things build up. Like we got more of these assemblers, and I made some more inserters. Don't know if we have enough as usual, but I think we might. So what I was looking at is the recipes themselves. And if we look at this overall, we only need 3 copper. And the 3 copper that we need is actually for electric motors. Now, it takes 3 seconds to make an electric motor. If we come here, it takes 6 seconds to make this. So, you know, there's a little bit of a balancing thing. I'm not sure if this will work out 100%, but they both need these regular motors, which takes 0.6 seconds. I'm sorry, this takes 0.8 seconds. The total, I'm not sure, you know what, the total raw seconds, that's interesting. I guess if you added everything up, if you weren't, like if you were just doing it in your inventory or something. But in any event, I would like to start out with is actually just thinking about what we would need. So we're going to need copper over onto this other side, and we're going to need iron. What I would like to do is try to make all of our stuff with iron and then bring the copper down and make the copper cables that we need. So let's do, well, first thing we need to do is split both of them, right? So I'd like to keep our chest splitting things, and then this guy can split right here. And let's see how we're going to do this. All right, so we're going to bring iron kind of more over this way. And then we'll bring the copper, but I'd like the copper to jump across, say, like right here for now. We'll just jump one over. And so we'll bring our copper over here. And then let's just run this copper line down this way. Eventually, we'd like to get all of our science onto one belt, and then hopefully we'll get that, well, we'll get it done before the end of the episode, one way or the other. So let's see, what will be the first thing that we need to make? And I'm thinking it might be good, let's keep this as far over this way. If we have to move these pipes, we will, but I'd rather not. So let's go one, closest it might get in the way over here, but let's just see what happens. So the first thing I would like to make is the burner inserters, which, if we look at that, we need iron sticks and a motor. So let's do the iron sticks first, because I have a feeling that will be that. And we'll send them back down this way. So in other words, they'll come out here. Oh no, you know what we might do? Let's maybe not even have those come out. We'll do something like this. And let's put it off to the side just so that we could put a pole right here. Yeah, I don't want to hook up my power until we're good to go. So this would be the burner inserter, right? And then we're going to need iron over to here to come into this one. And then, well, the iron's going to have to keep coming down. All right, we don't need any iron in this one directly. No, we just need the iron sticks, which should be brought in, ba-boom, ba-boom. And then I'm thinking this is where we could make these motors. The regular motor. All right, what do we need for that? So there we need an iron gear, and we need we just need an iron gear and an iron plate. So this is going to have to keep coming down. I'm going to put that there. And then this would feed in this way into that guy. And then this we would pick up, or not. Maybe we put that guy right there. And we make him make iron gears. Then he could pick up his stuff from here and then put it on did I not go far enough away? Yeah, let's go one more further away, just so we could put this belt like right down the middle in a sense. So there is a middle. All right, let's switch him back to gears so we know what we're doing. All right, so gears come in that way. Come over here onto this belt. We said this guy needed, no, not a gear, this guy needed the gear. And again, I do not expect this to be the best layout you ever saw, but maybe it's helpful to see how I work it out. And because again, the things are different for me, but they're not that different, right? So now we also, so that should get us, so that should feed back into here, and that should get us these. And we can actually probably put these out onto here. Now we can use these splitters as filters, I'm pretty sure. I hope, yeah, right? Yeah, we can filter the output, so we can, if we don't want the gears to keep going down, we can just have it filter out the motors. Now what we need to do is get that guy into there, And this guy, let's see, can we get away with this? Let's see what that looks like. And what I'm thinking of is this would be, oh yeah, you know what we'd want? Well, you know what, we could probably move, yeah, you know what, we're gonna move this guy down. Hopefully this, we can work right around this pipe. All right, we'll get rid of that, and I'll put this guy here. And then this will be copper wires. Now this inserter here is not going to probably be fast enough, but we can, yeah, see if we can't do that. And then this guy could be our motors. And if we did this, we could pull our motors in, the regular motors in that way. Then we could come here and say, I want you to filter. Oh wait, you know what? What is the recipe for this? So this guy needs a regular motor here. This guy needs a motor and a burner inserter. So our burner inserters are going to be on this side. Our gears are going to be coming down this way. So yeah, I want to filter this guy, I think, to the left and filter out. We don't need gears going further down, and I did it the wrong way. Right. So it's going to take any gears and just put them here. So the only thing coming down this one, on the right-hand side as we're looking at it, left-hand side as it travels, is going to be the burner inserters are going to keep coming down. And that means we should be able to put this guy over here at that point. And that leaves, right, because these motors are going to come out. Oh, wait, we don't have a way to get the motors over to here, do we? No, and the problem at this point is, so in other words, I can't get these yellow motors over to these blue motors at this point, unless I do it a little bit different. Oh, come on, stop doing it. I keep thinking I can hit escape to get that thing out of my hand, and I can't right click. That doesn't, right? Yeah, see, right click doesn't get it out. You got to come down there and click on it. So I'll have to get that into my head. So the problem is this guy is getting, so yeah, I'm sort of assuming I'm getting the yellow motors over to here, but I'm really not. And I definitely want the yellow motors. I think I'm going to have to move all of this down, which is really not the end of the world. What are we, yeah, you know what? We're going to get rid of all of that. And then what I want to do is actually maybe this. Right, and then no, that wouldn't work unless I did this, which would work. Yeah, this would work. As goofy as that looks. I don't know, do we need this though? I'll describe this in a minute. So, instead of filtering out those, we are going to filter out the burner inserters. Right, so the burner inserter is going to come over here, get put on this side when this guy puts out the motor. So we're going to end up with burner inserters and the motor, the yellow motors on this belt. I didn't need to spin that around. And then if we put this guy say right here, we can have him. This is not going to be the perfect layout, but at least, and sometimes you build it, you kind of could just see what happens, or you can calculate the heck out of everything. So we're going to have that guy making our cables that we need. This guy is going to be making the blue motors, right? So we'll get the wires from here. We'll get the yellow motors off of here. We still haven't made inserters, have we? All right, so let's yeah, we need the inserter, which is going to be a blue motor. Okay, well, that makes sense. Never mind. Sorry. Yes, we need to make the blue motors first. So we're doing fine. I'm just confusing myself. All right, so now here we could take the blue motors right out of here and put them into here. And this would be where we would make these inserters here. So the burner inserter is going to be coming down this way. Any bets on whether this actually works without... Can I get it? As confusing as it is to me, I'm sure it's confusing to everyone. But there we go. So that should get us the inserters. Now the next thing we would need is the belts. And the belts should be a bit easier. So we need iron plates and we need the yellow motors, both of which should be over here. So, you know what, let's take these kind of well out of our way. Hopefully that's well out of our way. Will you're not going to attach. Yeah, I think that should reattach once I break those. Right, so now, in order to make the belts, we're going to need an iron plate, but this is okay, right? And then we're going to need so we're going to have an iron plate coming in this way and a yellow motor. Now, we might have a lot of demand on our yellow motors. We'll see what happens. And then we need to get, this will be belts. Right, and that should have everything it needs. Let's put a few more, speaking of belts, down to here. So now, whatever comes out of this one and this one needs to go into a green science machine, but I'd also like to pluck some of these off of there while we're going. So why don't we bring, yeah, we'll bring it over this way. This won't be very expandable, unfortunately. All right, so if we do this, all right, oh wait, I forget which side that's going to put that on, but it doesn't matter because they'll come together. So on the far side, we'll have yeah, that's okay. Let's come over here. All right, 2 wooden chests. Oh, I didn't want 3 wooden chests, but that's okay. All right, and we'll have, yeah, that guy can go there for now. Oop, no. All right, so let's make a few more of those. All right, so this will pluck off some of these belts and put them into this chest. This will pluck off some of these inserters because they're good things for us to just have. And then they'll get combined onto this belt and we can come right here. Yeah, I really should have. That's all right. We'll just leave that alone, see if it makes any difference. And then we'll come here. And this guy can pull both of those off of there. And then he'll be putting out green science. And let's see, where are we going to have? Yeah, we sort of want to switch the side. I think this red science is on. So the way to do that will be run this guy past there, do this. No, that didn't work. Run this guy past there. No, we did that wrong. Sorry. I had it right the first time. I'm out thinking myself. Right, because the green science is going to go on the opposite side. Can we put this science back in here? I forget. It's been a while since I played. Yeah, good. I don't need to carry it around. So there we go. So our red science ends up on this side. The other science ends up on the far side. So we'll have our red and green science coming in on the same belt. Now, can we make... No, we need another lab, don't we? Yeah, what's the other lab? Where can we... Search. Lab. I'd rather not have to use those burner ones where we have to get the coal in them. Yeah, electric lab. So we need 100 science for the electric lab. And what else do we need? So we have to go through sand processing. All right, well, let's just get this going with those other labs over there. And we'll just have to put coal in them until we can get that research. I'd rather get this going. It looks like we definitely need more iron, huh? Not there. Yeah, so we'll pick this guy up and this guy up. And then let's see, is there a particularly... It'd be nice to not have to really move everything, but then again, since these aren't even really the right burners, I like to try to put, at some point, you know, like this is all about making science in a lot of ways, though space exploration is certainly something I'm looking forward to. So let's just, I guess I'm trying to think, should I try to plan this out? And I'm saying no. We'll get a little relatively slow thing going here. And all right, so this is where, well, we can run the belt longer. Oh, no, we can't run the belt longer. We probably should get all that fired up, too, before we're worried about too much about placing the science. All right, we'll just come over to, like, right there, because that's how many belts we have at that moment. Place... It doesn't really matter. I'm just going to place them like this. Maybe we'll put another one down there. And we'll... fill that guy with coal as well. All right, so now if we get... Man, it doesn't matter too much. All right. All right. What was this? Oh, green science. Oh, we can't do green science until we research it. Well, that's fine, but that's, you know, we should be... That's fine. That means we'll be making some belts. So let's see about firing this guy up and see what happens. And again, I try to avoid the electricity because if we have issues, now we can sort of, you know, if it works out well enough, you know, first of all, we can place these. Oh, we didn't finish this up, did we? No, I think I'll move that belt over one. All right. I don't know that it matters too much. Yeah, you're not going to be able to get everything, but that should get a good amount of it. All right, so what are we doing? Are we making the stuff we need? No, we don't have power over here. No, I see. Yeah, we're making burner inserters, and they're getting over into here. Yep, there we go. We made an inserter. That's a good sign. Are we making a belt, or are we just stealing... Yep, there goes a belt into the thing. Yeah, this is going to be incredibly slow. But it gives you an idea of what you're weak on, right? Like, so, you know, if we don't have enough, it just gives me an idea when I build it like this and it's all kind of hodgepodge. It gives me an idea of the layout that you would need, and then maybe you could picture what you would need to do better when you want to ramp up a true processing at that point. All right, so let's do this. Now we can get our science going on a more permanent basis. And probably, yeah, we want to, yeah, I think that'll be okay, because if we put another one in, that, you know, that should work out. So that means we can pick our next science, which, what were we talking about? Yeah, I think we want to head towards green science here. And yeah, electronics. Let's start researching electronics. All right, well, let me come back. I'm not sure exactly. We got a few more minutes before, you know, we end up. I don't know exactly how long these episodes are going to be, and or how big the files are going to be. So I'm going to try to limit it to at least an hour. So let me just wait a minute, and we'll come back, and hopefully we can see the green science get outputted in a minute. All right, see you guys in a second. Well, we're not doing that well, but we're doing our logistics science packs, our almost research. So we got done the one. Oh, look, we're running out of everything. And I was looking at, so when you start running out of everything, you know, the good news is that we're making progress, but we're not doing that well. You can imagine if we start making green science, we're going to do even worse. But that's not totally true. One of the problems that we have to start out is we're making a lot of these inserters, and they're just going into the wooden chest. So even if I were to set that to green science, which we now can, if you come over here, you can limit the amount. I think it's pretty self-explanatory, but certainly something that you tend to want to do. Like, in other words, we're not going to get any belts until we do that. So if we want belts made, which is a really nice thing to have, is those inserters, those belts, they're going to sort of slow down our green science every time we use them. And I want to go up the line and just show you how I figure out what we're missing. Now, there's always going to, not always, if you do a perfect job, you're going to not have, everything would be perfectly balanced, and that's just probably not going to be our case. So if you look, we have plenty of copper, but we don't have, what's slowing us down now is these gears. Right, like we're making a gear, and then somebody comes along and steals the gear, and we make a motor, and then, you know, eventually the motor gets down there once it has enough gear. So we really need to ramp up our iron, and you can see we kind of have enough for the motor, but then, you know, it's just we don't have enough to make enough gears. So I want to do one other thing, slight distraction, but we made an extra chest, and it's not even that extra. And if I go, you know what, here, let me do this first. Yeah, you know what, if I put it here, I don't necessarily like to steal it off of the one that's feeding the power plants, but I don't think we're going to be using that much power. Let's go back to that chest. Right, so there we go. So now it's a really good idea, and we don't necessarily even need a full chest, but stores a little bit of extra coal, and we can do this. Right, we don't need to be carrying all that coal now that we're less dependent on it. And, you know, it's not really going to do anything other than sit there. And if we ever do need coal someplace, we can grab out 6 of them. And that way, also, if we ever run out, because it is not that hard to forget what you're doing and run out of them. But I made 6 extra mining drills. And what I would like to do, just because I really like to stay ahead of this production here. Right, there we go. So now we know we have even extra coal, just so as we ramp things up. Now that we'll probably use it up. But what we really want is the thing that's critical. So just to go along back to the thought of what's slowing us down, well, it's not our ability to make it. If you look at this, we only are running really like 4 out of the 10. So we only have 2. So I'm thinking that we can easily put in 4 more of these electric miners over here in order to up the amount of iron, right? If we put 4 more of these in, we should be in pretty good shape. Now, can we put this guy? No. Doesn't. I like to keep them even too, like so that you're evenly filling the belt. Now, some people I notice put them all together. It sort of depends on, and by all together I mean like as close as possible. And you would get more of them in here if you did. So in other words, I like to space them out so that they last longer, and maybe we could move them together, but I'm not that worried about the speed of this. Like we really don't have that much iron here, and we're going to need to go find more. And so it's a debate as to whether you put them all right next to each other. Yeah, and I tend to do that as I ramp up things, in other words. And I'm sure there's a pro way of doing it that, you know, I'm going to start, let's go down the back side where the gap will be. Right. So in other words, we're going to want another one over here eventually and another one down here, miners. So there we go. So just based on how many of those things we're running, we're now making 3 times as much, right? Because we had 2 and now we have 6. Let's run back on the belt. So once that hits over here, we should be getting 3 times as much iron. Now, is that going to be enough? Probably not, but you never have enough iron. It's part of the game. So, but it certainly will. See, we're also making gears over here for this red science. So yeah, the gears are a big thing in the game, and at certain points, depending on where you're at, the what do you call it? The springs are another one that just can become a nightmare to make. And I'm assuming even with their rebalancing, that would still be true. There we go. Look, we filled up a stack of these. Now, just because we're not doing that well in general, I'm just going to come over here and give us a stack for our own good, right? For the community. Because we're going to need these anyway. Now, do you want to steal them out of here? Just make them yourself. Probably, to be honest, you want to make them yourself. But now we should be able to come here and say, make me some green science. And then what we could do also is just shoot those belts in there. All right, so we'd at least be making some green science. And that's what obviously you could do that too. We could make belts, but again, our big problem right now is getting enough iron. Let's see if we gotten the. Yep, there we go. You can see are these two going to start running? Yep, so far. Now, are they going to run steady? That's another question. But of course, we left ourselves a little bit of room so we can ramp up. Now, there's going to be a limit to the belt speed at some point too, but at least we've got more, right? And as we get more and more and more, and then the other thing is, we've filled up this whole thing with iron in the meantime too. So when that stops filling, we'll be doing even better. So that it all, you don't have to be patient, but it doesn't hurt. If you're the kind of game player I am, I'm not in the biggest rush to get everything done mega quick, mega whatever. So let's look at another science that we can do. Now, we needed sand for something, didn't we? Oh, because we wanted to get the electric lab. Yeah, so let's get sand processing. Oh, because we're going to need glass. Okay. But yeah, we can get sand processing. And now the nice thing about what we did in this episode is it doesn't seem like a lot, and it's not necessarily the greatest setup that you've ever seen by far, but we're doing things, right? We're making green and red science. We can go off around the map and work on some other things and keep getting research done. And hopefully, like I said, when things start to fill up and balance out, hopefully we'll see. You can already see, look, we're making a good amount more of the sprockets. Look, this guy's already backed up with sprockets, so that means this one will get even more. See, like now we're making enough iron to stay ahead of all of this. This guy's no longer waiting on a piece of iron. This guy's just steady pumping them in. So that really will help a lot. And that's the name of the game here. It's just rebalancing things and getting them better. And eventually, if we continue with this, we'll make a proper setup as far as that goes. And right now, I'm not too worried about it. Like I said, I'm not the most just it's fun to get things done quick, but it's also fun to relax in games, right? I play games to relax for the most part. So there we go. So we've got red and green science. I'm quite happy with our little start here. That went relatively well. I didn't mess anything up. Obviously, a lot of things could be done more efficiently. So I'm sorry for those of you that love super duper efficiency, but there we go. So let me know what you think, and in the next episode we'll have to see what we get into. But we should be able to now start getting a lot of better things done, and we have to talk about probably steel would be a good thing. Oh, but that got done quick, didn't it? All right, get the research on the glass going. Yeah, steel's probably is the next thing, because steel leads to like the better automation, where the size of the recipe is limited in these automation 1 recipes. We can get a steel axe, which helps a little bit. High performance engine, and say advanced material processing. That's a electric or a better furnace. I think it's an electric furnace. Yeah, electricity. Yeah, so we could get into the military. We can really start getting into the better military, and we can get some armor. Yeah, so probably in the next episode we would get some steel going, I would think, which is going to take a bunch more iron. So that's, so we'll have to talk about ramping up our iron usage. And it's one of the reasons I also ran around the map was to look for our iron. Yeah, that's quite a distance. So we'll have to talk about how we bring that back in. It's sort of, do we start up with the trains at that point and start making a train base? So let me know what you guys think. And thank you for watching. I hope you guys have a good day. Take care of yourselves. Bye-bye.